Good evening and welcome to Momentous Live, episode 95, if you can believe it. I'm Tristan Jutra.
I'm Tasia Custodi.
I'm Jamie Reynolds.
I'm William Silver.
And the illustrious Gray Williams will be hopefully joining us momentarily as he works through some technical issues. Losing power and internet is no fun at all. But you know what is fun? Following us on all the social medias, and you can find those links at momentous.tv/links. Little known secret, if anyone out there ever messes up our URL, instead of going to momentous.tv, they go to momentustv.com. It'll still work. There you go.
Shock.
But momentous.tv is nice for branding. So yeah, visit us there and then follow us on all the socials. But before we get into our picks for the upcoming year 2023, all the things we're looking forward to in the world of tech, TV shows, movies, and other random nonsense, we've got some breaking news from the incomparable Jamie Reynolds, our official fast food correspondent, which I thought would be my role, but Jamie's taking the
I was
con.
just very excited. So here in BC, just hot off the presses. From
or the grill, as the
from
case may be.
604 now, on January 22nd, Nando's locations across BC are giving away free quarter chickens in exchange for an empty bottle of their peri peri sauce. So there you go. That's some big news right there.
Where did you find that?
On of all places, Instagram.
Well, I've just managed to find it on some website, Daily Hive Dished.
Okay.
So if anyone wants a nice visual on there, free chicken from Nando's this month. Oh, it's in celebration of National Hot Sauce Day. Correct. We all know that.
Yeah. I've actually really gotten into hot sauces lately. I really enjoy them. I guess as I age and my taste buds start to disappear, I need my food to taste better and throw some hot sauce on there and sear the rest of them away.
Exactly right. So diminishing returns as time goes on. As you know, we're wont to say here on Momentous Live, I just want to feel something. And that's what Jamie's in pursuit of. All right, Let's start with our anticipated tech picks of the year, starting with the lovely and talented Tasia Custodi. Tasia, what are you most looking forward to in the year 2023 in the world of tech?
The iPhone 15. I have been waiting because you all know my thoughts on the 14, and I didn't upgrade, and I've got an old 11 Pro, and she's hanging on for dear life, and I love her. But boy, when that clock hit midnight, and I went, this is the year. Just have to make it to the fall. I want the 15. But then I'm reading all these rumors that the price is increasing because, of course, it is, because everything has increased because they're not expensive enough. So take more of my money, Apple. But that is my most wanted and needed, I'll put in quotations, pick for tech gear.
So which you said you've been holding out, which of the anticipated features that may or may not show up in the iPhone 15 series are you most looking forward to? Why have you been holding off?
Well, I held off and I didn't do the 14 because I just didn't think there was enough there to make me want to upgrade from the 11 Pro. Like if I was going to upgrade, I felt the difference between like a 13 and the 14 models weren't that big. So I feel like now jumping from an 11 Pro into a 15 or 15 Pro or whatever their Pro models are going to look like, we don't really know yet. It's just rumors. It's rumored they're all going to get that dynamic island, which I'm kind of like intrigued about, but it'll change, my user interface. So I'm a
Dynamic Island sounds like the name of a reality TV show.
It's so dumb.
It sounds like one Tasia would watch.
I would watch it, and I wouldn't be able to look away. It would be terrible, and I would watch the whole thing.
You know what it sounds like to me is Apple marketing jargon. That's what it sounds like.
Yes.
Actually, you got to take a minus and make it into a plus. I just wanted to remind you of the location of Momentous. If you look at our Twitter account, we're not in Vancouver. We're not in North Canada. We're not in North America. We actually exist. So yeah, that's to be fair, I prefer the dynamic island to the notch because I upgraded to the iPhone 14 Pro from the iPhone 10. So that was a 5-year wait for me. And of course, when you wait, the more years you wait, the bigger a jump in capabilities, no matter if it's iPhone or Android. And I find the dynamic island a lot more usable than, of course, the notch, because on the notch phones, you had to swipe down from one of the corners to access some features. With the dynamic island, you can tap it or tap and hold for whatever happens to be the most sort of frontmost application. I guess second frontmost application. So whether it's your navigation or your podcast player, your music player, whatever, you can press and hold and it just pops up a mini player with a bit of information or controls in there, and then you let go and it goes away. And then as time goes on and more apps start to support the functionality there'll be little bits of information surrounding the part that's actually blacked out. But what they did, they just kind of owned it, right? So that was the thing. So that should be a big jump for you going. And so you don't know if you're going to go for the 15 or the 15 Pro, or I imagine not the Pro Max. You're not a Max girl.
No, not a Max. It's gotta fit in my tiny little hands, to be able to text with a thumb. But so I don't know yet if I'll do Pro or not. It's going to depend on the feature difference between the two once they're finally announced. But that's my big go-to. That'll be my big purchase of the year, to be honest.
And your last few phones have been the Pro models, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then when you finally have a current phone, you can do proper head-to-head bake-offs against whatever Google 7 or 8, if because the 8 will probably be out close to then. It's interesting.
So that's what I want to do is like a 15 or 15 Pro versus like the 8 Pro should be out for the Pixel around that time. So I'd love to do another like camera comparison, feature comparison, that type of thing. So let's hope I stay in the good books with Google and Team Pixel, and that all works out. I do want to compare the cameras because I'm a Pixel. That's what I use for camera. That is my camera. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting then once I finally ramp up the iPhone, because right now I'm comparing apples to oranges. It's like, obviously the Pixel's a way better camera. I'm on an 11 Pro.
Exactly.
So
one of the really interesting things about what Google's been doing with their software and their sensors, in some of their phones, they've been just keeping the same sensor they've been using for years and years. And their software is so powerful, it seems to still be working for them for the most part. MKBHD, Marquez Brownlee, the last couple of years has been doing smartphone camera comparisons and getting people to vote online on Twitter. This year, he made it a bit more scientific with the polling methodology and whatnot. And for I think it's the second year in a row, the Pixel A model. So I guess this year it would have been the 6A. The previous year was the 5A. Those were the winners, if you can believe it. Basically, year-old tech. But actually a couple, 3 or 4 years old tech, but just with constantly updating the software, and it shows you the power of the software competing against much more expensive phones.
It's true. The 5A, the Pixel 5A, was still one of my favorite cameras. So the 5A and the 6 Pro I found were like very, very similar, but I still actually loved the wide angle on the 5A. So it's just interesting. And like the rest, they all get, like, the good thing with Google is like once they push a software update, like your camera will update and you can get, amazing capability. So like really to the naked eye, like you wouldn't notice like the small nuances, but I totally believe that poll. I loved the 5A. I actually just gave it to a friend and I was like, when you're done with her, when you put her to the graveyard, give the shell back to me. Like I was like, I want to retire her. She was like one of my favorites. So I get it.
Right of first refusal. I did that with the car I sold earlier this year to someone. It's like, I kind of don't want to let it go, but we don't need a used car lot in our front yard. Great. Good pick. Will, yours is a slightly more off the beaten path, but definitely consistent with some of the other stuff that you and Gray have been talking about for the last couple of years with us here.
Yeah. So the choice that I made is actually a rumored product, but it looks like it's coming out anytime soon. They're probably just waiting for NAMM, which is the big sort of music gear conference, the equivalent of CES or E3. And that's going to be in April this year. So we're probably going to see this product at least be officially announced. This is just basically when you give DJs like demo material, it ends up on Instagram right away. So this is basically what's happened, is that there's been so many leaks that we have full video. I've seen pictures of people holding it. So it's not going to be a surprise when it's announced. I don't know why they don't just announce it, but basically this is a turntable, portable one. We talked about the Omni a little while ago. There's a couple other competitors. There's a Newmark Scratch, and basically this is so you can sort of scratch. So you got the turntable and you've got a small crossfader right there, the Nano there. And so I'm really looking forward to this. I already have a couple portable turntables, but as you say, Tristan, I'm bad with money. I probably, if I don't actually buy this, I'm very, very seriously interested in it. We'll see what it retails for and when it comes out.
Why don't you tell the folks out there who the manufacturer is and what you think it might be called?
So it's made by Stanton, which I think they might be part of In Music. I have to double check that. In Music is a big conglomeration of some big manufacturers or turntables and other gear. They own Akai, they own Rain. I have to double check that. Stanton may be its own brand. I'll have to look into that. But it may be called the Nano. I'm not 100% sure. There seems to be various markings on it. So, but yeah, it's got some cool features with ultra pitch, which basically allows you to make the turntable go even faster. And if you have a record that's set up for ultra pitch, you can actually scratch at a different rate. It's a complicated, nerdy thing. It's also got Bluetooth, so you can stream music to scratch to, like the loopers I make, without actual cables. You can just Bluetooth into the turntable and play the record and scratch to something through Bluetooth. So some cool features there.
Nice. So all we have to go with so far is this looks like cell phone video from a cave in Afghanistan or wherever it is. And, so I'm sure you'll be reporting back to us on the developments for the Stanton portable turntable, whatever it ends up being called. Maybe
STX or Nano. I'm not sure. So
very cool. All right, Jamie, what's your anticipated pick for 2023?
Well, it is the Google Pixel Fold. I remember that. So I know very little about it. It just looks kind of cool. And it's kind of more of a rumored tech than anything else, but I'm kind of hoping that it becomes a thing, a bit like the Samsung has their folding technology out there now. And I've been considering shifting away from my Samsung that I've been using a Samsung for the last few years as my daily driver. I'm on the S21 Ultra right now. I think S23 might be coming out next year, but
I think this year actually, because the 22 came out last year. Yeah.
No, sorry, this year. Yeah. I forget we're in 2023. And then, so I think I might be making the switch to the Pixel line this year. And then if they do have a fold option, I'm considering that as being a possible way to go. Just in the end, it might just be too much. I might just look at it and say, you know what, for the cost, what am I really getting out of it? But I do like cool tech, and that's kind of what this is about, cool tech. And being able to fold out into a tablet, because I have an old tablet that I purchased, an old Samsung tablet, and I use it once in a while, but not a lot. And so I think if I had a phone that was able to be dual purpose in that regard, that it might actually be useful to every once in a while if I need either two screens side by side, or have maybe a keyboard as part of the second screen as a keyboard, or just use it as a tablet, then it might be the way to go. So I am, you can see the renderings anyways there. I'm interested to see if that becomes reality, and who knows, I may end up snapping one of those up.
Now, the renders they're showing here look pretty similar to, say, the Samsung Fold. I've never seen one of those in person, although a friend of mine actually has the. Oh, does he have? He has a Samsung Flip,
The flip one, yeah.
which is pretty cool. Now, if Google was to do a flip version, which flips up as opposed to flips open like a book,
No.
which of those two form factors do you think you would lean toward?
The Fold, as we see on the screen here, to me, again, I like the idea of going to a tablet size at a moment's notice, and then keep it as a phone when I need to. And I think that gives me that extra functionality that I need. I don't need to go from a tiny thing to a regular size thing. That doesn't really add functionality to it to me. It's really going from the phone size to a tablet sort of format. To me, it seems like, again, pretty cool tech, and it's proven technology now in many ways, with Samsung having done theirs. They seem to have worked out some of the kinks, and they're surprisingly popular, and that's why the folds are becoming more of a common thing, I think. So Google is getting on board, and I think Apple is even talking about
well, not talking about it. Everyone else is talking about it, but everyone's speculating what Apple might do, and it's quite possible. It's just
There's rumors that they're reviewing it anyways, and
exactly
considering. If again, with Apple, that's kind of that's what they do. They come in after some tech has been introduced, and if they can make it market friendly and they can sell lots of it, then they'll just do their own iteration.
It gets to be the point when there's you kind of get the law. Well, it's sort of like the reverse of the law of large numbers problem when you're a company of a certain scale, whether be it Google or Apple or Microsoft or what have you, that to introduce a totally new model or product line, it has to move the needle. Like, and when you make so much revenue, it's like, okay, we're going to devote resources to this. And especially given Apple's a functional organization, the way that they're organized, it actually pulls resources from other things and can delay other projects. So they've got to be really sure.
So, and props to, I would say props to Samsung. Again, Samsung really, and that's one of the reasons that I kind of like sticking with them, is they tend to, they push the envelope. They try different things. They do new things and say, hey, we're gonna try and open up new markets. And then they seem to be the ones opening up these markets for a company like Google or Apple to come in and then do their own iteration. But yeah, I think Samsung has actually been pretty impressed with how much they've sold of, especially that flip phone. I think that one there has been surprisingly popular. So it's interesting stuff. So anyways, the Google, I'm so buried, like Tasia, buried in the Google ecosystem, that it's kind of it's kind of a natural progression to head off to the Pixel line at some point, and the Fold seems really interesting.
Yeah, Samsung's approach. Sorry, go ahead, Will.
I was going to say Tasia's a dual citizen, though.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Well, yeah. So Samsung's approach. I mean, you got to know, like in all these companies, they've got stuff going in the labs. They just tend to bring things to market sooner. And the flip side of that, and the danger for the consumer, is that you end up, the consumers end up beta testing things more in public as opposed to things being tested more rigorously behind the scenes. So that is the whole thing. It's like the spaghetti against the wall approach. And to Samsung's credit, no one, the world didn't think anyone wanted a phablet when they introduced the Samsung Note, like in 2011. And it took them a few iterations, and they finally got the formula down. Same with the Fold and the Flip. Like the first 2 or 3 iterations, like Microsoft, the same way with the they're calling it the Passport. The first generation was garbage. The second generation is a bit better. It sounds like for the next generation, they're actually getting rid of the hinge gap, and they're going to be going with the foldable screen as well, which kind of breaks my heart a little bit, because I was, if I had to go that way, I like that as an option. And the foldable screen, that's going to be a vulnerability. Hinge is one thing, but the hinge and foldable screen is even more of a vulnerability. And you get it's a visible artifact, which is only going to get worse over time. So that's the thing. Now, I guess my last question for you, Jamie, before we move on to the next thing is, let's say that Google ends up having a Fold type device. What is it about what Google might offer, hardware or software wise, that would be enough to pull you away from maybe doing the Samsung Fold?
It's I haven't been a fan of the Pixel line up until now. My wife Christy has a Pixel 6, I believe it is, and they seem to have worked the kinks out really quite well. I've kind of been waiting for them to iterate enough and to get their stuff to the point where it's polished and functional. Again, maybe it's just trying something new. That's one of the things. Again, I've always jumped between phones. So I used to own an HTC phone, and then I owned.
I'm sorry.
It was a decent phone. It was actually it was a good phone, and then
they just didn't sell enough. Where are they now?
Exactly.
They got bought by Google, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, I think they did. So I like being able to choose. So in the end, I might look at both options, look at a Samsung Fold and look at a Google Fold, and say, okay, well maybe this one is better, maybe that one is better. That's one of the things I've always liked, as a consumer, having that choice and being able to decide between different choices. Lots of quite a varying set of technologies, and then just decide what works best for me. So in the end, it won't necessarily be a brand loyalty. Like I say, I'm on Samsung now, and going to Google will probably just seems intriguing to me. I was even considering. My wife was interested in the Pixel Watch. But the quality of the battery, I think, was not that so great. So we're going to wait on that one and
give it a couple of generations.
Just let it go a bit more. And but it's more just what's new and cool, and then really at the time comparing the different options and just seeing what works best. But the idea of having a phone that can turn into a tablet at the moment's notice, it's kind of appealing.
Yeah, for me, if someone put a gun to my head, made me choose an Android phone, I'd probably end up going with one of the Pixel ones. If for no other reason to have one set of apps than two. For a lot of there's a lot of overlap between the various vendors and Google in various functionality and whatnot. So it's like just go straight to the horse's mouth, and hopefully you would expect that Google has understands their own platform.
But it's kind of the nice thing with what I have on my phone. I've got both, so I can use both if I need to. If I want to use the Samsung, their editing program for software, it's on the phone, as well as the Google version of it. And so again, it just gives me the option. I'm not locked into just using the Google option in that case. So,
but can you delete the Samsung apps if you want to?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Or at least make them go away. How deleted they are, I don't really know. But there's enough space on my phones nowadays that it's not really an issue. So, yeah, it's
just trying to. I'm a little wary of like kind of bloatware kind of thing, and if you've got duplicated. The Pay, Samsung Pay versus Google Pay, the Samsung browser versus like the native Chrome browser, and so maybe that's getting better over time. But
but I agree that again, that's probably one of the reasons I'm thinking of going to go all Google, because it's all there. But again, it's still having the choice. It is what pulls me back to Samsung, doing something that just a different option rather than just being said, okay, here's Google, you only have Google, that's it. Again, that's one of the reasons I'm not big into Apple's, because I really prefer having more options. So we'll see what happens. In the end, it'll just be what makes me look the coolest.
Of course. Well, in both cases, you've got your app stores with millions of apps to augment
exactly.
as well. I mean, I guess one of the downsides of moving away from Samsung is bye-bye Bixby.
Yeah, fair enough. I keep forgetting it's even on there.
All right, let's move on to the entertainment portion of this evening's programming. And I guess I have a pick too. It's gonna be quick because it's the same bloody pick as last year. Where is my iMac Pro? Come on, Apple. So when Apple moved over to the M1 platform, over 2 years ago now, it was in 2021 that they introduced the new iMac, bit kind of redesigned. They removed the Apple logo off of the front as well. Pretty cool. Only 24-inch options though, no 27-inch option. And I have a 2017 27-inch model, Intel model at the moment. And I've been holding out for a new 27-inch replacement. Worst case, maybe I'll go with Mac Studio and just get another monitor. But, I want to see what they've got for us in terms of an iMac Pro, if it's even going to happen, or even if they just call it the iMac and it just happens to be a 27-inch option. That would be really nice, because the Apple monitors are really, really great. And you can get kind of the equivalent. The panels are made by LG, but the LG freaking cases are terrible. We've got LG monitors here. They're not the same ones that Apple uses. They're decent, but just like the cheap plasticking enclosures. And I'm not, even though I'm bad with money, I'm not so bad with money that I'm going to pay like $5,000 for the, US for the top end Apple monitor, the Apple, the 32-inch
So is it
Pro
monitor
XDR or
alone
whatever.
is $5,000?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a pro grade monitor, right? Like virtually reference monitor. I mean, they have a cheaper one as well, the Apple Studio Display. Even that is like more than I want to spend on a monitor. But that's the thing, is you get what you pay for as well. Plus, a bit of Apple tax on top of that. Anyway, so iMac Pro, same choices last year. They still didn't have the new Mac Pro out. That's been delayed a little bit. The M series, Apple Silicon series, whether it's M1 or M2, or if they're waiting for the M3 for the Mac Pro, which the more modular big boy, but come on, bigger iMac. That's what I want. So moving on to entertainment. Who's first there? I think we're starting with Asia. She's got the best choice. So
Well, thanks.
what do you got? What's your most anticipated pick of 2023 in the movies department, Asia?
I am excited for the Barbie movie. So it's really the only one I can think of for this year. It just looks like it's a really cool directed, like cool shot film. It doesn't look like, what I'm hoping from it is it's not like the stereotypical Barbie I grew up with. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, and I hope there's a little more meat to it. But it just looks like it's shot really cool. And Margot Robbie's having a moment. She's in like everything right now. So I'm very much looking forward to this one. So and I might even go to the theater, you guys.
I might. I dare you. So directed by Greta Gerwig, and she directed, was it Lady Bird was one of hers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just saw a movie that she was acting in, White Noise on Netflix. Oh. And not recommended. But,
all right.
But I
stick with directing.
But it was a cool movie to watch, but not a great movie. Anyways.
So Tasia, who's playing Ken?
Well, there's some discussion on whether or not we think that this is a good choice for Ken. So let's take a poll, because he's Canadian, right?
That's true.
Ryan Gosling is Canadian. Yeah.
Oh, not Ryan Reynolds? He's Canadian too. We have all the Ryans.
Yes.
All the Ryans. So he's playing Ken, but I'm not sure about it. I feel like maybe I'll see it and I'll change my mind. I just, to me, it's like facially, he doesn't facially represent a Ken, right?
Yeah.
Too thin almost, or too, Ken was like.
My suggestion, we talked before the show, was Channing Tatum, but he's a little, I was thinking about that.
Too buff?
I've been putting a lot of cycles into this, thinking about this now, and
we tackle the hard problems here, Momentous.
Barbie will get you thinking.
Who I think would actually be a better choice is probably James Marsden. Is that who it is?
Yes, from Westworld.
Oh. Yes.
Yes, exactly. I think he would have made an excellent Ken. Now he's maybe a little old. That's the only problem now.
Listen, I saw him at YVR once in line, and I was like, so
yeah, you see, that would have been a Ken. That would have been a real Ken right there. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been a better choice.
Yeah.
I still like the Ryan. I like Gosling, but he's probably more.
He
doesn't have the square enough jaw. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's true.
I agree.
Yeah. He looks weird to be Ken. He looks strange with that hair. I don't know if you have a picture of Ryan Gosling as Ken there, Tristan, but just for a frame of reference, there's something about it, and I don't know what it is, but he actually has an odd looking shape or something. I don't know how to describe it, but
it's definite. It's the chin.
Is it the chin? Yeah, there he is, right there.
I think he's a good-looking guy. Like, this isn't what I'm saying. He's a great actor, good-looking guy, Canadian. We love him. All I'm saying is, I think it's the pointy chin for us, because we're used to a Ken with, and like they could have prosthetic that. They could have Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
look at his chest. They may prosthetic that a little, unless he's just like
Mhm.
really working out. He's got the
Yeah.
Wrath of Khan going on there.
Yeah.
I am wondering though, because there are rumors, and I don't know if this is true, but there are rumors that Army Hammer, remember that guy?
Oh
who has
yeah.
been canceled.
Canceled.
There were rumors, I think, that he was being considered for it. So I'm wondering if that was like a
Yeah.
we can't use him.
Yeah, he would have been okay. He would have been as a physical specimen, probably would have made a good Ken, I think. But anyways, I'm sure Mr. Gosling will do us all proud as a good Canadian boy.
I think that what we should all do when the movie comes out this year, might be the end of the spring, I can't remember. When it comes out, we all need to watch it and then report back to each other and say what we think. And if he changes our mind and we're like, we lost him in like he becomes Ken, and we lose Ryan Gosling and he becomes Ken.
What do you say, boys?
That's a no for me, Dom.
I'd watch it. It looks like it's tongue in cheek. I mean, the other thing is, you know what it kind of reminds me of is when they did the Brady Bunch movie. And it wasn't a serious movie. It was a comedy. It was about, like, what if the Brady Bunch from the 70s or the 60s was in the 90s and they were still living in a different world. So I think this looks like a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek, not doing it serious. Obviously, this beginning.
The teaser, the Planet of the Apes tribute.
Yeah, the Planet of the Apes. So, I mean.
No, 2001 Space Odyssey.
2001.
Sorry, yes.
Come on.
With the obelisk, yes. So I'm interested. I mean, I didn't have Barbies as a kid. My sister didn't even have Barbies as a kid. So yeah, I mean, I have no connection to the brand or the toy, but I just think it looks like they're definitely taking in a comedic. I mean, they're dressed up in full neon. I looked at some of the production stills, like. I mean, they're just having fun with it, right? So
it's no fun. It's got to be serious. That's
no fun.
Yeah, no fun.
That's what Tristan says to us before we go on air. No jokes, guys.
Yeah.
No jokes.
No, we've got to keep it deadly serious. Yeah, the 2001 tribute. I stand corrected there. I was thinking of the apes in the beginning of 2001. That's why I had Planet of the Apes on the mind there. But the way I think that was actually pretty well a good call, because right from the outset they're kind of telegraphing that this isn't your mother's Barbie, right? Like this is a self-aware, we're going to have fun with this, and and plus it kind of appeals to some of the geeks. Like, wait, what? We got 2001 going on here? Maybe I'll go see Barbie. So,
but
Jamie,
the other thing is I hate to overanalyze things, as I always do, but I'm going to. Is the other thing about Barbie is it did revolutionize dolls and modernize dolls. So there's a bit of truth in it as well. But yeah, they're doing it for impact and to be funny. So
honestly, I thought Barbie was canceled, so I'm surprised that they're even making this movie.
No, Barbie's come a long way, baby.
Yeah, well, I guess so. I guess maybe I should watch it just for a little pop culture education.
Now that we've mansplained Barbie to Tasia and all the other women out there, Tasia, are you going to see it opening night? What's your approach going to be?
I think I'm definitely going to see it. And you guys know I never go to the theater. Like, Elvis brought me out to the theater,
and I saw that on your recommendation. Yeah.
Oh, he better win all the awards. Let me tell you. Oh, right.
He could be Ken,
but okay.
He could be Ken.
Oh, he could have transformed.
He could have been Ken.
Yeah, Austin Butler.
Austin Butler. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Again, anatomically correct.
Am I allowed to ogle him? Am I too old to ogle him? Because
you might get canceled.
Tasia is now canceled.
That's right. All right. Next up is William. What's your most anticipated TV series, new or returning? This year we're combining the categories.
TV series or movie?
Oh, we're doing TV series first. Yeah.
Oh,
hang
Barbie?
on.
That was movie.
Oh, movie. Sorry.
Movie.
Yeah. Movie. Thank you. Sorry.
What kind of host are you?
And jump.
Yeah.
So
it's because everything's all out of order in these tabs. Don't even get me started. Go ahead.
My most anticipated, partly because I was trying to think on the fly, and the only thing that came into my head was Ant-Man. Partly because it ties, I think, a little bit into, or the rumor is it ties more into some of the things that are happening possibly in the future, this phase of the Marvel universe. So, and the other thing is I always feel that the Ant-Man movies are kind of underrated. I really enjoyed the first Ant-Man movie. They're a little bit more lighthearted. They're definitely more comedies. I mean, there's comedy in all the Marvel movies, sort of. But this one, I think the series is probably the most comedic, and Paul Rudd is just great. I love Paul Rudd. I have a man crush on Paul Rudd. I just think he's funny. I've always liked him, going back to 40-Year-Old Virgin and some of the early movies he did, and I'm kind of happy he's become so famous and become such a star. So I've always liked the guy.
And like Ken dolls, he doesn't age either.
No, he doesn't.
What
He's made of plastic.
to deal with. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Celery Man fan myself. So, did anybody get that reference? I don't know. Or Tane.
Delete your account. So to clarify, it's Marvel Studios' Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. I got to admit, Quantum Realm, okay, we're going back there yet again, sure. It's nice to have the full cast in there, including Michelle Pfeiffer. And these are, I mean, it looks kind of intriguing, but it's a lot of CG. So hopefully it's, I mean, I'm going to go see Avatar tonight. So speaking of CG,
nice.
We'll see how that goes. But the neat thing about Ant-Man is it's kind of, it's almost one of the most off to the side, threads in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Right? These movies could like largely stand alone until, of course, they, made the Quantum Realm a key part of the, was that Endgame?
The Ant-Man movies, they feel the most like comic books to me, and that's kind of, and so it's kind of more fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously. Or I haven't actually seen the new Thor movie, but I've heard that it doesn't take itself seriously enough.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah, I've heard it's really bad, and so again, it looks like it's fun and lighthearted, and Paul Rudd, he's a great straight man. He plays the stuff lighthearted, like a doofus, but seriously, but you could see it just sort of unfold as a comic book would. So to me, that's kind of what's appealing, because I'm really off of the Marvel stuff these days. I just don't watch it anymore, especially the Disney Plus thing. So this seems like a nice sort of reboot, to kind of bring things back and make it just more fun, and hey, this is just going to be a crazy adventure and let's just see what happens kind of thing, without beating me over the head with some sort of message.
Tasia, you've not been huge into the Marvel stuff, but do you watch the Paul Rudd ones?
Sometimes. I like him, but yeah, I'm just not super into the genre, I guess.
So not going to go to the theater for that one. It's okay to like different things.
I'll watch it like at home.
Jamie, you've got.
Besides, I really don't go to the theater for like.
As we've established.
It's
Elvis and Barbie. That's it.
That's it.
Anything made after the 60s is done.
Sounds like my mother.
I like being at home in my PJs or my sweats on sweats. I can go to the bathroom when I want. The popcorn's free.
I just want my cats around and my tchotchkes all in the right place.
Your hard
and
candies.
a little sherry.
While you watch your stories. Back to the 60s, where women knew their place, as did the minorities. Speaking of minorities, look who it is. It's
See?
Great.
There he is, just in time.
He came at the right time.
That's a hell of a segue.
Just for Tristan to get canceled.
There we go. Tasia is just telling us
That
about
was
all
what I was
the
looking
things.
forward to in 2023.
Yeah. Tasia wants to bring back the 60s and all the bad parts too. So
The sexy
No,
stews.
they're ganging up on me, Gray. Help.
That's what they would have done in the 60s as well. So
all right, so
Boy,
we're we're going to do Jamie's movie pick, and then Gray will catch you up with your tech and movie picks, and then we'll move on to our TVs and
Okay.
TV series and wildcards. So, Jamie, your
my
pick.
movie pick for this year, and I think it's coming out this year. I didn't actually check that, but Dune Part 2.
Close enough.
Is it? Okay. Yeah,
2023, yep.
So Dune Part 1 was great. It was a fun, that was a theater movie. That was one where you go and you sit down and you pay for your popcorn, Tasia, and extra butter, lots of napkins. And then, but yeah, it was just, that was a magnificent piece of filmmaking. And I'm looking forward to seeing the movie continued into its Part 2. And is there a Part 3 as well? Is it just Part 2? I can't remember.
I think it's just 2.
Okay, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've got I'm working my way through the book right now. It's on my side table and my nightstand, and so that's going to be a good one. And I'm big into that Timothy Shalalama Ding Dong.
He's taking the mantle from M. Night.
No, it's Timothy Charlemagne. Get it right.
Timothy Charlemagne.
I loved his Magna Carta or whatever.
Yeah. So that's my pick.
That's the thing. Part 1 definitely felt like half a story because it's like and we're done. Like, right, they're doing a Part 2. But it was a feast for the eyes. Well acted, great cast. A lot of sand. So, I mean, I'm surprised my wife Stephanie liked it because that's why she hasn't watched Mad Max Fury Road. Too much sand.
Because of sand?
Too much
Of course,
desert.
it's rough and it gets everywhere.
Wow.
Yes, exactly. But great pick. We're definitely going to be seeing that in the theater on the big screen experience. Now, Gray, it looks like you've got your power and your internet back, thankfully, just in the nick of time.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So what tech product, gadget, or what have you are you most looking forward to in 2023?
Matter.
The protocol.
The protocol, yeah. So basically, I've gone through over the last couple of days and sort of re-smart homed the house here. I went into IKEA. I picked up their new smart home hub. It's like a didgeridoo. I don't know, diggerin. I don't know. It's Swedish for smart hub. Anyway, it is Matter compatible. The problem is right now we're obviously they're rolling out Matter. They've kind of rolled it back in 16.2 a little bit as well. But looking at how right now I'm using a Raspberry Pi, that's over there, to make anything that's not HomeKit compatible, and it works-ish. Every time there's an update, I have a motion sensor that goes off, and it says there's an update, so then I have to log into the home bridge, update it manually, and then things start working again. But it's clunky. And so I think that Matter is going to solve some of those problems for me. I did just drop like $150 on IKEA bulbs and things, so maybe I don't need Matter anymore. It's all HomeKit compatible, but that's the one I'm looking forward to. Faster performance, cross-platform compatibility, and a better internet connected things.
So better able to choose whichever from whichever platforms that have been traditionally supported, be it the Google ecosystem, the Amazon ecosystem, or the Apple HomeKit ecosystem. And when these devices get outfitted with Thread radios, which support the Matter protocol, over the next couple of years, we'll start to see these things roll out, and it will be in smart home nirvana, and it won't be just for us geeks anymore.
Well, it's one of those things where I think if you go to buy something smart home related and you haven't heard of the company before, they're probably not HomeKit compatible. And so you have to go through all these hoops. So that's.
But it was cheap on AliExpress, Gray.
It was cheap. Yeah, I got 6 for $1. And it came with free surveillance. So yeah,
exactly. All right, good choice. A bit more abstract, so it's and broad. So it's the entire ecosystem of Matter, which you're looking forward to. We look forward to seeing what other devices you spend your hard-earned money on to flesh out your smart home ecosystem. Now, what is your most anticipated movie of the year?
Quantumania. Straight up.
You got a second? So Will did a great job of explaining that to us. Anything else, either from the Marvel universe or anything that? So we'll take it. Your first up, we'll take it that you're seconding Ant-Man and Wasp, Quantumania.
Yep. I honestly didn't think I'd live past that. So.
Well, there's still time. Let's see how it goes in Ukraine.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a second vote for Quantumania. My my movie pick for 2023 is the upcoming feature from one of my favorite filmmakers, Christopher Nolan, and it is ostensibly a biopic. It's known about Robert Oppenheimer, titled Oppenheimer. And it's Christopher Nolan, so it's got to be more than just a biopic. So hopefully the dialogue will be audible and intelligible, unlike so many of his other movies. And I'm wondering if they're going to play with time or some other features of space-time, like most of Christopher Nolan's other movies as well. The titular character, Robert Oppenheimer, is played by Cillian Murphy. Great actor. I think most of us are fans of his here. And it'll be another big screen extravaganza. Looks pretty wild. We're going to get all nuclear here. So that's my pick for 2023 is Oppenheimer.
So you're a big fan of nuclear weapons, Tristan?
Love them. Love them.
So there's a I can't remember which scientist it was, but there was basically they were stopping a reaction from happening. I think they had like a spoon wedged into where this reaction was happening, and it collapsed. And he basically just reached in, grabbed it, pulled it out.
And, I heard about that, yeah.
Yeah, and basically said, well, that's it. And 7 days later, he was dead. It's a hell of a scary time. They weren't really sure if they were going to ignite the atmosphere.
Well, and I think it was vibes like that people were getting with the Large Hadron Collider operated by CERN in Europe, too. Are they going to accidentally create a little black hole and like destroy the Earth?
Yeah.
They reassured us no. And so far, not yet.
I mean, nobody's seen Jerry O'Connell in a little while, but still.
Nice reference, sliders.
Thank you. It's actually he's still on Star Trek Lower Decks. So.
And I think he's been slumming on the View or The Talk or something, one of those daytime talk shows for the last little while.
They have TV during the day?
I know, right?
The thing about Oppenheimer is ever since I read the comic book, The Manhattan Project, I can't ever think of Oppenheimer the same way again. It is if you are into comic books or into pulp fiction, I recommend that comic book a lot. It is very, very, very strange and adult focused and oriented. Just warning everyone, but highly recommended, and you will never look at Oppenheimer the same way again.
That's a bonus pick. We're going to have to, it's not for 2023 per se, but we'll add that to the show notes as well. I might want to check that out. All right. Looking at the clock here, we got 5 minutes, but I think we might go a little long. Well, we'll see. We can't go much long because some of us have a date. All right. So off to our favorite TV series of the season, and yours truly very wisely combined the last year's categories due to time. So this is most anticipated upcoming TV series, whether it's recurring, like a returning series, or a brand new one. And let's start with Tasia.
I want to watch How I Met Your Father. So you guys know I am finally going to get Hulu. So the second season of How I Met Your Father is coming out, I think like January 24th or something. They just announced it today. But I haven't even watched the first one yet because I need to get Hulu. But I'm a big Hilary Duff stan, and so I want to watch it. I want to binge the first 2 seasons. So that's my pick.
And so this is it a sequel or a prequel to How I Met Your Mother, which I've never watched? That was like featuring Neil Patrick Harris and Jason Segel and others. Where does it fit in the whole How I Met Your Mother timeline or universe there?
It's like her version of like How I Met the Father. So it's not, from what I understand, that's what I think. So like, unless they're doing one that's supposed to be like the younger version of, but I think she's the mother. Do you know what I mean? Right. From what I understand, you guys, I haven't watched it.
Well, just further proof that Hollywood is out of ideas. So.
I love her. Love her.
Awesome.
That's not true, because like Rashomon, you take the same story, you see it from many different angles, and we consider that to be art. So, no? Too far?
No, it's perfectly fine, but I was going to make some comment about like no film nerds tonight, but
too late.
Arrived just in time.
Rashomon, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's a great film about a story told from at least 3 different perspectives. So How I Met Your Father just like Rashomon in the world of
Somebody
cinema.
finally sees it.
Exactly. Okay, moving on to William. What is your anticipated TV show pick for 2023?
So I'm going back in time for perhaps the longest continuation of a television series, and it's Xmen '97, which was I remember reading Wizard magazine before the cartoon even came out, and I was so psyched for it. And now I'm so old that I'm looking back on it 20 years, 30 years later. So yeah, Xmen '97. I am really looking forward to that. It's one of those sort of if you're a comic book fan, if you're an animated series fan, this is right on your top list, up with Batman the Animated Series, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and the Spider-Man series from the late '90s.
Will and I are best friends. Just so
yeah. so this is a classic.
How does the theme to that one go again?
Ba-da-da-da-da,
Hey,
ba-da-da-da-da.
hold on, we're clipping. Mind your level. Okay, so can you refresh me? How can you? So there was a X-Men the Animated Series which came out in '92, and
Yeah.
it was it set in '92 as well, or do we know when it was actually set?
Yeah, I mean, it was set in the current
Yeah. And so X-Men '97 is a continuation of the 1992 animated series, but it's set in 1997. So even though we're 30 years in the future, they're only advancing the timeline by 5 years. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Well, this original show was 5 seasons, was it not?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
So this is picking up
25
like
years.
minutes after it left off.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is why it's the longest like 6th season in history or whatever. So they're basically just like starting where it left off 26 years later.
It's like
That's
James
a fan
Cameron in
service, I don't
charge
know
or
what
something.
it
What's
is.
going on?
Yeah.
All right, good pick. I'll have to check that out. I have to confess I haven't watched a ton of animated stuff lately, aside from Star Trek Lower Decks. But guess now, do you think it would be required to go and watch the 5 seasons leading up to it to get the most out of it?
Yeah, perhaps.
There are some really great YouTube recap videos that will take you right through the end. And there's one great video on the best episode in the series that doesn't feature the X-Men. It's about Mr. Sinister. Take a look for those. We'll put it in the show notes.
All right, Jamie.
Also, my eyes just glazed
this is a
over.
surprise
Repeat
pick.
that? What was that?
Say again?
No, my eyes are glazed over.
Yeah.
The animated stuff just doesn't do much for me anymore. I don't know what it is.
I'm old.
I'm old and crotchety. And speaking of old and crotchety, Star Trek Picard. This is my hopeful dark horse pick. I have been exceedingly disappointed with most of the Star Trek stuff that's come out over the last few years. And Picard season 2 especially was horribly bad. But season 3, they are reuniting the Next Generation crew.
Getting the band back together, just like us.
Yeah, except for possibly not Will Wheaton, which no loss there, but I'm sure he'll have a cameo somewhere. He'll weasel his way in. I'm just hoping that there'll be a little bit of what the Star Trek The Next Generation was, and just kind of make a little bit of that fun happen again. There was very little fun in Picard, and very little good, enjoyable anthology, sci-fi anthology kind of stuff going on there. So I'm just hoping that there's some sort of a nice comeback tale, and we get some fun Star Trek there.
Interesting pick. Yeah, season 1 was a bit more propulsive. Season 2 started off kind of like promising with going back in time and whatnot, and then it got like some people weren't fond of the story getting bogged down in his past trauma and whatnot. And we've had a lot of trauma informed storytelling over the last few years.
We have.
So, I mean, I get that, different opinions on that. I still enjoyed it, but not as much. It kind of trailed off.
It was
for
bad.
me. And,
No, it was just
yeah.
bad.
Objectively.
So it was objectively bad. Yes. It just, I wanted to like it. I actually didn't end up watching the last 2 or 3 episodes. It was just so disappointing.
Well, you missed the mind blowing stuff. Come on.
Yeah,
Say
well,
missing it, Bob.
I've heard. But so I'm a little bit concerned. There's going to be a few too many member berries, as they have been doing all along here, and bringing back lore. Brent Spiner is Data's brother, and so we'll see. I want something that I can just sit down and be like, oh, that was great. That was fun to watch. I like that kind of next generation vibe, and maybe we'll get some of it. I'm not holding out much hope, but I have a shred of hope that they'll kind of come back to some real Star Trek kind of stuff.
We'll put you down as cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, okay.
Hopeful.
Yeah, cautiously hopeful. Yeah.
All right, William. We did William already. Sorry, Greg.
Yes.
Doctor Who. We've got 3 specials coming in November of 2023. They are featuring David Tennant, who was...
Spoiler alert! No, it's fine.
What? So he obviously popped back in as Jodie Whittaker regenerated. And we were expecting, I believe his name's Nikuti, I can't remember his last name. But we were expecting him, and out pops David Tennant.
Ta-da!
What's going on? And he gave us a reiteration of his first moments in Doctor Who. What? No teeth. So we're going to see Catherine Tate, I believe, back. I'm excited. It's. I think we got Russell T Davies back as well, the showrunner. So he was the guy who did Queer as Folk in the UK and over here, and then did Doctor Who, and really just after the 1996 Fox partnership movie with Paul McGann, the show disappeared, and so in 2005. It's back, and it's a powerhouse. This is the 60th anniversary, so should be very interesting to see. I can't remember. Somebody's got a role. There's obviously some British actor who's not in Doctor Who is going to be in Doctor Who, probably the villain. Richard Harris was last time.
And so, as far as we know, David Tennant's only back for these specials and is not continuing another couple seasons or anything like that.
No.
Much as people might want him.
This young fella, Nikuti, I will figure this out by
Gadwa.
Gadwa, yes. I think he was in a show called Sex Education, and appears to be a brilliant actor. And obviously, the first time that the Doctor's been played by a person of color. So interesting to see. We've been through, guys from the North, guys from Scotland. We had Jodie Whittaker, and so the Doctor can be whatever the Doctor is going to be, and it's going to be pretty cool.
Exactly. All right. Any notion of who, when we'll see his season come up? Are they going to just carry right on? Or is it going to be another year wait? Or
so there's 3 specials, and then there will be the Christmas Day special in December. So it's bang, 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 boom, we're right into it.
All right. I guess we're over to me now. And do I even have my link here? Oh, yes. I thought I had it, but this is a game. Well, this is a TV series based on a game that I've always been curious about, but have never played. And that is The Last of Us. And they are making a TV series about it. And it's got a lead. One of the leads is Pedro Pascal from The Mandalorian and from Game of Thrones. Speaking of Game of Thrones, his co-protagonist is also from Game of Thrones, and she played one of the young princesses there. I can't recall the actress's name, but she plays Elle in the Last of Us series. So that's going to be on HBO Max in the States, and here in Canada on HBO and /Crave. It's got a neat post-apocalyptic vibe, which I'm always game for, and real danger, great actors. that's my pick.
I've heard good things about it. I've heard it's supposed to be very true to the game, and the game's supposed to be great. I've never played it either, but it's always good when they appreciate what they're given and actually enhance what they've been given.
And hopefully I'll get around to playing the game someday. Because they've got new versions for the PS5,
Remastered.
I believe. They've kind of redone remastered.
They have a remastered, I think.
Yeah.
All right. So on to our wildcard picks. We'll do this as quickly as we can and let everyone go to bed and hit the road and all those things, or go home from work.
Yeah, have dinner. Thanks.
Dinner. Yeah, me too. All the sacrifices we
all
made.
right,
Not all superheroes wear capes. So, all right, Tasia, starting with you, your wild card pick. Now, this can be a book, it could be a gig, it could be another movie or TV show or anything you want.
Are you guys ready for this?
Oh, we're ready.
Earlier in the live stream, I snuck out because it was delivered to my door.
Yes.
Hold
This
it
is
up
the-
close.
Prince Harry book, Spare.
I'm leaving the stream now.
Bye.
Guys, I'm so excited!
Why?
I want all the tea because I hope it takes the royal family down because I can't stand them. They're terrible people. So I hope it takes them down. It
Them's
probably
fighting
won't
words.
because, there's a pedophile in the family and nobody talks about that. But I'm very excited for this. And I hope, all the tea wasn't what we already got, from, the leaked Spain copies of the book. So I'll keep you guys posted, but I will be up late tonight.
Don't keep us
Reading it.
posted.
And yes, apparently I ordered the large print.
Oh, perfect.
So it's
Oh.
giant font. But that's okay. I'm very excited. So that's my
So he
pick.
doesn't really look like Prince Charles or King Charles, does he?
Oh,
Oh, don't go down.
That's one of the rumors. But he doesn't address that, obviously.
Fidel Castro gets around.
Tangents everywhere.
All right. So
Thank
we looking
God he
forward.
takes after his mother is all I have to say.
Well, we're looking forward to you reporting back with all of the juicy details.
Yes.
Some of the. Oh boy, that's why we call it the wild card round.
That's wild.
That's wild, baby. Okay, next up in the wild card round is William. What is your wild card pick?
So my wild card pick, I hope it's coming out next year or this year. May come out in 2024, but I'm hopeful. I'm crossing my fingers. So it's a game called Rotwood, and I'm a huge fan of hack and slash games, and it's cutesy as all get out, and it's got some really cool kind of mechanics to it. So it's not just random. There's some other little things that are thrown in and chants and things like that. So it just looks like a really great game, and I'm really looking forward to it.
What style of game is it?
It's like a hack and slash. So
just
it would
hack and
be
slash, okay.
Yeah. So it would be something like it's a bit of a mix
There we
because
go.
there's some rope playing elements to it as well. But one of the things about Clay Entertainment, the company that makes it, is that they're really known for animation. It's one of their hallmarks. And this just looks like an animated cartoon that you're playing, basically. So it's really impressive, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, the childhood versions of ourselves. To imagine that games, not only would we have real sort of photorealistic 3D games, but games that actually looked and played like cartoons. Cuphead being one of the the original sort of in that genre as well. And it's so cool to see that variety and of art styles in the game. So as we all know, diversity is our strength.
Yep.
All right, Rotwood. And so that's not, is it out yet? Or
No,
Yeah.
2023, hopefully, maybe
Okay.
2024. At the end of the trailer, it says 2023, and then it goes question mark. So it's like, we're hoping it'll come out 2023, but we'll
Fingers
see how it
crossed.
goes. Yeah.
All right, Jamie's got a
I've
different
martyred
sort of pick, not
myself.
the kind of pick that we.
Yeah, I've martyred myself for this. So it's just really kind of crazy This is like an ad on from the RoboCop movie. Like, oh, you can look what you can buy now. You can buy, if you need eyebrows, you can just buy the machine and it'll print it on your head. And that's what this is. It's an eyebrow printer. So that's really all I have to say about that. It's
So you're anticipating this for yourself? This is something
yeah,
you want to
I'm
add to your
going to be
gadget
shaving
collection?
off my eyebrows, and every day I'm going to be trying a new style, and just try and be hip to the groove. Doing what the young kids are doing these days, and apparently women nowadays they kind of pick all their eyebrows out and then draw them back on. I don't understand it, but they must be doing it for good reason. So
Jamie, not all women.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Is this real?
This is real.
This is a real thing.
This is legit. This was introduced at CES.
It's CES, yeah.
You guys are like making fun. I get my eyebrows tattooed on my face.
I know.
So
Tattooed.
this would be something that it actually was real and worked.
No, it's real.
I don't understand. Like, I have to freehand that shit? Does it wipe off? Like, I don't know. But I would try it.
Yeah. And apparently I did a little bit of reading on it, and I believe it's actually reasonably priced at, I think, about $250 US.
Take one.
Yeah, for the ladies who decide that their natural eyebrows are not appropriate and they need some enhancement.
Inappropriate eyebrows.
There you go.
I gotta get one to stick it on the back of my head.
Yeah, it's magic. So
eyebrows everywhere. Like,
yeah.
who says you have to put them on your face?
Exactly.
I get some
Ear
back there now.
eyebrows.
It's not good.
Earbrows.
Or, a couple of, you could have stacks of brows. So, Jamie, I take it that, so since this is not for you, it's more you're anticipating it because you want to see how this works and plays out in the real world.
Exactly. It feels like we are in the future and the future is wrong. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, this just doesn't seem like it should exist, this technology. But it does.
Let's talk about it for a second, right? So you're gonna do your brows. Tisha, what do you have to do? You get the either tattooed on, or you've got a brow brush. You are freehanding that.
Oh, yeah.
$250 is a small price to pay to have perfect eyebrows. I'm just saying.
It is, because it's
by
very
tattoo-
expensive to get them microbladed on your face, just so you know.
By tattooed, do you mean permanently tattooed?
Well, it has to be redone every couple of years.
Yeah,
It's
so
like
it's
$2
called
grand.
microblading, but it's like
Tiny
I have to
cuts.
do it every couple years. Yeah.
Tiny cuts, and it gets filled in with ink.
Yeah. But now, see, mine have worn out a little bit, so I've had to go in and fill them a bit. So I need to get them redone so that I don't have to do it every morning because it takes so much time. So, ergo.
We have no comments on that. We just don't really get it, but I don't really get it. Anyways,
there's also a big application, like people that have alopecia and stuff like that.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
They
There's
spend
useful
a
applications.
ton of money on it. So that's why I was like, is this real? Because
I think it'll actually be huge. I think it's
if it works,
yeah,
it's a game changer.
Yeah,
if it
a
works.
game changer. Well, there you go. And
if it's a game changer.
Yep.
There you go. You're welcome.
I can't wait for the one for beards and mustaches. We just like.
No, that's from Ronco. You just spray it on,
That's for just 5 minutes.
Could
Touch
really
of gray.
Need it up there. All right, Gray. What's your wild card pick for 2023?
Destiny 2 Lightfall coming out in February. This features.
What was the over under on that? I should have put money. It was going to be Destiny 2 related. Destiny 2 Lightfall. Go on.
Yeah, I love the fact that the Lightfall logo is pretty much the Lightyear movie logo.
Okay.
I'm surprised more people have been talking about that. It's literally just a straight, look at that font. It is the Lightyear font.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
So, we've been fighting the darkness for, I think, 8 years now. This is our 9th year. There's a 10-year overarching story. There's a city on Neptune, one of the moons of Neptune, I think, called Neomuna. And humanity has evolved there, separate from where we've been struggling against the darkness. They've been sort of evolving in safety. And there is a new darkness power called Strand, where we're basically able to, Spider-Man swing through the air and Bionic Commando grapple onto things. And I don't know. It's green. Looks pretty cool. So, more shooting of the mans and more Destiny.
So did you say it's 9 years of Destiny or Destiny 2?
Destiny. So the Destiny franchise.
Okay.
Right?
So how many years of Destiny 2 have we been doing so far?
I want to say this is 6. Sussex.
So when do you think they're going to go, okay, it's time to level up and go to Destiny 3?
So we have Lightfall, and then we have the final shape. And after that, the Destiny franchise will continue in a new way. Probably Destiny 3 or whatever they're going to call it. Because the saga of Light and Dark, which is this 10-year saga, will be done. We won't be carrying our characters forward, but we will still have... They said like things will carry forward in a way that is meaningful. So, when I went from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, they played a movie of all my achievements from the first game with the names of my friends who I played with, which was pretty awesome. So, yeah.
Now, it seems like this universe is ripe for a cinematic treatment. Any word on TV or movies in this universe?
Yes, yeah. So Luke Smith, who is one of the producers of Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, has been put in charge of Destiny in other platforms. So there is a TV series coming. There are already action figures and all sorts of other stuff like that. We've got a bunch of the merch here as well. But yeah, they're stretching out novels and things like that. It should be as pervasive as Star Wars Legends at some point, and probably equally as bad. So I'm here for it.
All right. Good stuff. Well, we're looking forward to your report on Destiny Lightfall. Not Nightfall, Lightfall, correct?
Yep.
All right.
We were powered by the light, and it seems like there's going to be some stuff happening before the final shape, so Lightfall.
Nice. All right. Real quick, my wildcard pick for 2023. Like last year, it's another concert. Sloan, good old Canadian band. Been going since the early 90s. So yeah, 30 years or so. I have never, ever seen them live. As some of you who know me may know that a lot of music I listen to tends to be of the computer-generated variety, a lot of electronic music. But believe it or not, I actually do listen to some jangly guitar pop bands as well. And Sloan is one of said bands who I've never seen live. And my sister and brother-in-law gave me tickets for Christmas. So I'm going to be going to see Sloan live with my brother-in-law. So shout out to Shane.
I'll be choked to the play Money City Maniacs. They didn't play it the last time they played live here.
As long as they play I Hate My Generation, I'll be happy.
Fair.
All right. I think we did it, guys. Gals, is that it? That's it. For fun and games, feel free to go back and look in y'all. You can, my compatriots here, check your picks from last year. And that's something we didn't get a chance to talk about today. But at some point, we might do a little post-mortem on our last year's picks. That's something we can start doing more formally at some point. And if anyone is interested in our picks from last year, you can visit episode whatever it was, minus, like, say, probably around 45 or so, 45-ish, to see this episode from our 2022 picks. And you can laugh at how right or wrong we got it. But again, thank you, Jamie, for joining us. And Greg, glad you were able to show up. If any of you all want to find out more about Momentous, it's momentus.tv/links. Oh, I almost forgot. Projects. Tasia, you got a video for us?
Oh, sure.
I do, and I've got it in the show flow here. I almost forgot, but we can't forget to promote ourselves, right?
My first video of the year went up last week, and it's a Gmail one, and it's tips to clean up your inbox in 2023.
Oh, you talk too fast. You need to vamp a little. Here it is.
It's okay.
Okay, say it again slowly. Pretend you're
so
in the eye.
late. It's fine. If you want to know how to achieve inbox zero, head on over to youtube.com/Tasia Custodi.
Okay. Does anyone in the world actually achieve inbox zero? That's what I want to know, because I'm at inbox like 40,000 or something at the moment, and it just stresses me out to think about it.
I don't leave anything unread ever. I never have unread in my inbox or messages. It drives me up. I get instant panic when I see someone's phone and they have like a million notifications. It's like, what's going on?
You won't want to look at my phone.
Functioning in life.
I worked with a programmer who was so obsessive about inbox zero that all of the inboxes, including all the like auto-generated like info at our company, had to be inbox zero. So if we couldn't hold any messages in there even to get back to people or anything like that, because they had to be gone by the end of the day. It's like at the end of the day, it has to be inbox zero for this person.
All right. And Will, That's stuff of make believe. Will, while you have the floor, you've got 2 projects for us, real quick. There are 2 loopers. What's the deal?
Well,
here?
no, it's the same looper. I just sent you 2 messages. They're 2
Okay.
different links.
Oh,
This is the most recent one. It's actually, I just did 2 loops on someone else's looper for a scratch battle, and I've got 2 tracks on there. A lot of other great loop makers there. So so 2 tracks. Red Hook and Rip and Tear, or Rip and Tear, however you want to say it, but it's supposed to be Rip and Tear. So check it out on tableist.net and the Table Beats app, and look for Molotov. What am I, track 10 and 11 there? But check them all out.
Nice. All right. Finally got things back in order. It's tables.net for searching Molotov for Will stuff. And of course, Tasia, you can find it at youtube.com/Tasia Custodi or TasiaCustodi.com. And once again, Momentus.tv/links for all our good stuff. Thank you, Jamie. Great. Glad to have you back. Glad you made it. Tasia, nice to have you back after missing a couple of weeks while you're jet setting all over the place. And Will, as always, well, great to have the band back together.
Still at the bed and breakfast.
I hope you're getting a good deal.
Yeah.
All right. We hope your year is truly momentous.